Hello, everybody. Welcome to Subscriber Appreciation Day for December of 2017. The last one of 2017. How crazy is that? So, for anybody who's brand new to Subscriber Appreciation Day as a concept, every month I mean, it used to be special that I just did live streams, but now I get people together, creators that I know, or creators that I can get access to, bring them on to step back and talk about whatever. You know, usually I let the chat room push the discussion going forward. My guest today seems to be running a little bit behind, so we'll see what happens when it happens. But I'll introduce him a little bit to you guys. So his name is Josh, and he is it's going to be a little different than my usual content. Usually I bring on educational creators. This is going to be the dungeon master of an online D&D campaign that I'm involved with. And it's live every Wednesday night. So we're going to talk about running RPGs, what's cool about RPGs, maybe talk about media, media and like how these things function as media, why people like things, why people like D&D, what's cool about it, why you should play it, and where it fits into all that kind of stuff. And of course, we'll build on whatever you guys want to talk about. But while we're waiting, I can talk a little bit about what the stream schedule is going to be like on Step Back for the next few weeks. There's a lot of craziness going on in my life over the next few weeks, so I got to keep you guys up to date. So let me tell you about what's coming up. I am going to be releasing a video next week, and that is going to come with a countdown stream, as I usually do on Thursdays. So next Thursday, there's going to be a regular countdown stream. As you guys, I can already see some of my regulars are in here, so that's not going to change. But the week after that, which will be, I think, the 28th, I'm not going to be here. I'm going to be away for the holidays, so there's going to be a video, but there's not going to be a stream beforehand. The other thing that I have coming up is that due to popular demand, on January 6th, actually, I should rewind. So January 1st, I'm going to do another one of what I did last year, which is on New Year's Day in the afternoon when everybody's all hungover, I did a stream to hang out with everybody who was recovering together and do a Step Back retrospective. I did it last year. People seem to like it. So I will put together a show on the first, on New Year's Day in the afternoon. And then during the day, we'll talk about things like how 2017 has been for the channel and the best videos of 2017 and what Step Back is going to look like in 2018. So that's going to be New Year's Day. So hopefully that'll make up for the fact that I'm going a week without doing a live stream for everybody. And then that week, I should also have on the 4th, the next Thursday live stream release party. And then that Saturday on the 6th, I'm going to be doing a popular demand. I'm going to be doing the live stream playthrough of a Crusader Kings 2 campaign with my with a Zoroastrian leader of some kind. That's what I hope. And then on the 8th, I'm premiering the Step Back Monday video. I think I'm calling it the Quick Step. And I'm going to have a stream for the first one of those. So let's see who's all here. We've got Ace Beater the Bass. Nice to see you. It's Gam Axel Procope. Got Only Bro, a regular. Ignacio Sancho and David Sadecki. All right, so we have a lot of things going on in there. So how should we start? I guess I can go off topic and not talk about D&D in the meantime, since I'm waiting for my guest to arrive. So toss some questions at me, and I will answer them in the meantime while we wait. Social Justice Warlock. Nice. All right, I just got a message from Josh. He says that he's just rebooting his computer, and then he'll be in. So I can answer a few quick questions while he's getting ready to go. Come on, folks. Oh, man, the delay. The delay! Anyways, the Social Justice Warlock 5th edition homebrew. That would be fun. Pineapple on pizza is amazing. I will say that. I don't understand the hate. I think it's great. Just going to get confused in the live stream. There's just a comment section full of the word communism. I mean, I saw what you said to do that. Did you call that guy's aunt up? No, I did not. It's one of those things with the. I've never been on this side of a parasocial relationship like this before, so I guarantee that that if Ace Beater the Base's aunt actually met me, I imagine she wouldn't find me as attractive as she apparently does. So, we all do characters. All right, we got somebody.
Hi there.
You made it.
I did.
All right, so I'm going to reintroduce you to my wacky, crazy chat room right now.
Okay.
So, and of course, I don't know your full resume for online content, so I will just say that you are the dungeon master for at least one of the dungeon masters for the Dungeon Dwellers, which is like a Twitch stream team of people who do online pen and paper role-playing games, basically.
Yes, very much so. That's pretty much all we do. We will occasionally play video games, but that is few and far between. But mostly, I DM.
All right, and I got some questions about pineapple and pizza. That seems to be what's going on in the chat right now.
I love it.
I know. I don't know what anyone's problem was. I don't know how I missed that controversy.
I love pineapple and pizza. Pineapple, ham, and pizza, to be specific. So good.
Yeah. Good old Hawaiian. You can't miss that.
Making me hungry.
Now, I have a question, because I don't know if this is true in America. Pizza called Canadian pizza. Except in Quebec, where it's called Quebecois pizza for some reason. And it's... Do you have this? I don't know. Maybe it has a different name. It's pepperoni, mushrooms, and bacon.
I've never had it. I'm sure it's a thing.
Okay. So, this will be interesting because we're mixing topics at the moment. So I think we might need to talk. You're a dungeon master. You're a reasonably long time pen and paper role playing game person.
Yes. 15 years roundabout.
Well, that definitely beats my 3 months. So, but we have this is a history channel, an educational history channel. So we're going to have to go from the top level. This is not going to get noodly.
Okay.
But I think it'd be interesting to talk about this genre of game, this kind of media platform, and what makes it unique, what makes it special, and what kind of things that people go with, and then we'll follow the chat from there on out. So, tell me, how did you get into this whole thing?
Well, strangely enough, my youth minister asked me if I would be interested in playing a game, and he described it kind of like D&D, but it was actually a homebrew adaptation of White Wolf's Vampire the Masquerade. So that's the first pen and paper RPG that I ever played, and I finished the session and I didn't like. It was time for us to go, but I didn't want to. Like it got me hooked right then, and I knew that I wanted to keep doing that. So him, myself, and two of our other friends, three of our other friends occasionally, would get together. Oh, geez, once a month if we were lucky, and we just continued to play that game. And over time, it adapted into his own version. Like he made his own game out of it, and it got away from White Wolf's rules. And we made our own. And then I got into Dungeons and Dragons when I got sent to Germany. I was in the army for almost 6 years, and part of my career there was in Germany for 3 years, and I got into it there. And nobody else wanted to DM, and I figured I could do it because I've been playing the games like that for so long. It was definitely different than what I was used to, but we would do marathon sessions of like 72 hours. Just every single weekend that we got free, we were playing D&D, and I ran those.
How did you like how do you even prep that much for 3 days of just stuff?
You don't. You don't. You you prep maybe the first 20 minutes where you're introducing like what you think the players might be doing for the next however long you're going to be playing. But my players, I had 10 of them at one point, so they were all over the place. And we would just like holiday weekends and stuff like that. We would sit down, we would get our beer steins, fill them to the brim, and just go. And yeah, that was my introduction to DMing, and it was definitely an interesting way to start.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about that. That would have been like in the mid 2000s, right?
2010.
2010. So that was like deep in the bowels of what's it called? The edition that must not be named for some reason.
Yeah, no, we played 3.5. We didn't play 4. That was no.
That was actually my introduction to it.
4E.
So
I have mixed feelings about 4E because they tried really hard to make everything balanced, and it made it feel like a war game instead of a role-playing game to me. Like, you can still have that role-playing aspect to the game. It just didn't feel like that.
Makes sense. All right, so there's a whole lot of stuff that we can chew on. And like the first thing you said that actually surprised me quite a bit, because this shows that things have come a long way, is that not only did you said your youth pastor got you into role-playing games, but not only that, but Vampire the Masquerade. And I was thinking, like, geez, like,
yeah,
30 years ago, if I recall, like, there were pastors who were calling Dungeons and Dragons too demonic.
Oh no, they still are.
Oh, they are? That's still a thing?
Yeah. I'm not going to say any names, but I have been told at my place of employment that if I do not stop streaming, that I will get fired.
What?
Yeah, because we play D&D. Not because we're streaming, but because we play D&D and the different characters that that I've portrayed on the stream. Some of them are not straight, so they it was bad. We're a diverse group, so when I was very surprised when I got talked to about that. So it is what it is. Yeah.
Jeez, I did not know that. Like, I thought that it was like kind of relegated to like the people who hate Harry Potter and Halloween and stuff, like the really hardcores. Is it just because of the demons? Or no, you said the alternative lifestyles.
Yeah, alternative lifestyles, and then you've got spell casting and demons and other demonic entities and geez, there was a comic produced a while back. I don't remember the name of it. I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to it, but it it did some storyline where this young girl got pulled into a D&D group, and the person who was running the game was an actual witch who was trying to get her to kill people, and it was dumb.
It sounds like peak satanic panic type stuff.
Oh yeah, it was for sure.
So I guess one of the things I think would be really cool to talk about is just the role-playing game as media type. So like it's kind of in this weird semi-permeable zone between being a game and being like a story medium. I guess those aren't mutually exclusive, but what would you probably, I don't know, like what do you think sticks out as like very compelling or unique about the genre? I want to like not make this super interviewee style, but get the juices flowing.
Yeah. No, to me, it's more of a storytelling medium. It's just like, as far as what we do on stream or what Critical Role does on stream, to me, we're telling a story. Each person is an actor playing a character, and that's all it is. We improv a story, and we let the dice decide some of the decisions and some of the things that happen in the game. But ultimately, when it comes down to it, it's just like a TV show or a movie. It's just we'd have no real script, except for the DM who knows what's going on behind the screen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a whole, like, there's like a weird. I'm starting to pick it up now that there's like a community. So there's a few, like, the community is strange and it seems more divided than I thought it was, which really surprised me.
The community is very divided, which is sad, but everybody's gonna have things that they like and dislike, and you can't cater to everyone. Mm-hmm. So you kind of have to pick which side of the community you kind of want to stream to, and those people will gravitate towards you.
Yeah, because like, all right, so I guess like right now, so like for everybody who's out there, Dungeons and Dragons, it's the role-playing game with all the dice and the grids and the demogorgons and everything. I mean, if you that's the basics, but it's changed a lot as a thing over the years. It's currently in its technically its sixth iteration.
Technically sixth, yeah. When
or seven, if you want to count the.
If you count Pathfinder, yeah, you have 7. But when Gary Gygax made the game, it was all about like delving into dungeons and killing the monsters and getting the treasure, and it was very much a DM versus player kind of a game. It's like either the players won or the dungeon master won via killing the player characters. And he would come up with some ludicrously difficult traps and monster setups. And I've played the original. It is hard. It is hard to play as a player character. There's no real role play involved. I mean, you can if you want, but really the point's to go beat the monsters up and take their treasure.
Well, what you really hit on is that it's a game that over the years, it seems like so it was originally picked up by like baby boomers and Gen Xers, and like it was mostly like their thing for a long time. And it kind of evolved over time to have more of the thespian elements, and that's kind of culminated in the most recent version of the game, which is very, very much story focused.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, even a lot of the feats and the backgrounds that you take don't really, some of them don't give you really good like in-game mechanical benefits. Mm-hmm. It's just, here, I've got this thing and it can do this for me. via letting me, maybe there's somebody here that I know, and that's it. Like it's just, it helps story wise, but mechanically speaking, as far as the game rules, there's not much to it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely a more story focused game now.
Yeah. Okay. So if there was somebody, maybe somebody in this chat room, there's been some people talking about whether or not they should even try playing it. What would be your suggestion? What kind of person is this right for?
Everybody. In my opinion, this game is right for everyone. If you've ever wanted to, because you can play it in so many different ways that it doesn't matter. You can cater the game to the type of players you have. If you've got players that really don't care about the role play and only care about going into the dungeons, you can, for an entire campaign, you can just run a series of one-shots, which should take about 4 to 6 hours, depending on the amount of time you have, where it's just you going into a dungeon, killing monsters, taking treasure, gaining levels, kind of like a Diablo style game. Yeah, there's a story behind it. Nobody cares what it is. And then you've got the players who are really into the role play and the political side of things, where there was a campaign, a pre-designed module called Kingmaker, really good, but it's heavily based in politics, and you're going around building a kingdom, essentially, and one of the players has the potential of becoming the ruler, or you can try to prop up the NPC who the story is actually about.
All right. And I guess you saw it from the inside, since you said you've been playing D&D now for a good 7 years. Yet it seems like I this could just be me. I just remember it got announced by, I think you showed me the tweet where they said that this is the best year for the property ever since it came out, or since like the 80s or something.
Yeah, for sure. Like, they've had more sales in 2017 than any year ever.
And what's going on? Why is it having this moment?
Honestly, I don't want to. I think it's Twitch, where you've got so many, especially things like Critical Role. Geek and Sundry started Critical Role up, and that was a few years ago, though. But it got really popular, and it's gotten so many new people into the game that it's really started to boom. And then a lot of people started streaming their home games on Twitch, and they get thousands of people watching, and it's popular now, I think, because of that.
I've been, as somebody, I'm a media historian by like trade or technology or something between all of those anyway. I was starting to think about, like, what is it that resonates about something like this, something that's so old and so like analog, to this new, my millennial generation of people. And I almost want to say that it's got a few things. There's like a personalization angle to it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think that what the thing they said about millennials is that there's like this emphasis on experiences and enjoying experiences rather than possessions aspect to them.
Yeah, and I think that has a lot to do with how the brain processes memories. Like, when you're recalling something that happened in a game of D&D with a group of your friends, when you think back on that memory, you don't remember the group of you sitting around the table. You remember you and your companions going in and killing a dragon. You know, it has a different feel to it, and those memories, they're real to an extent. They're just as real as any other memory, I suppose, because of the way you're remembering it. But those people who get really immersed into the story and into that kind of thing, that's how they think back on it. You know, it's not a group of friends sitting around a table. You're killing that dragon.
Yep. The other thing too, and I think that this speaks a lot to, I just recently shot my last batch of videos, and I just filmed one on why baby boomers and millennials are different from each other. And the big one is that one has money and one doesn't. And I think that if there's anything that I can say about D&D to set things off, is that it is a hobby that you can do for about, depending upon how legal you want to go, for about $7, and you can pretty much get started.
The publishers of the game have the basic rules out, so you can play the game completely for free, except for maybe the cost of a set of dice, like you said, $7.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if you go that route, you can play the game completely for free and then make your own content based on what you've got in the free rules.
Yeah. And I mean, it's a good type of thing to do in a situation where, well, you know, it's a rough world out there right now.
Oh yeah. State of things.
Oh man. So I'm trying to parse questions. Unfortunately, you guys, I don't.
What are people asking?
It's a lot of questions that are asking about takes on news events and stuff like that. And I'm like, this isn't really like, you guys can save that for Thursday. I'll give you all of the hot takes you want on Thursday. All right. We do have people are saying, there's a friend of mine from work who says that they like the way the new films filmed in Toronto, the new videos. Someone's been asking about, so like a lot of, they asked has there been a D&D MMORPG? But that's like a short answer is yes. It's a reasonably middling RPG right now, the DDO or whatever. But I think there's a more interesting question in that, and that is, there's a lot of people who are coming to the hobby who grew up in basically the World of Warcraft era. These the people who are my age, where that was like the thing in the mid 2000s. And I think that like from a lot of the stuff that I've been reading, because I've been reading way too much about this stuff, is there's a lot of work that seems to be done about de-video gaming the mind.
Yes, that was the problem with 4th edition, is most of the powers and most of the spells and all of that stuff felt like it was straight out of a video game. To me, 4th edition felt like WoW. That is why I didn't like it. It felt like I was playing a video game. Does Josh only play pre-designed campaigns, or does he do world building or something? Yes, Axel. The answer to both of those is yes. I will sometimes do pre-designed campaigns, but for the most part, I homebrew pretty much the whole world. The campaign that Tristan is playing in, that I DM, is all homebrew. The whole world is homebrew. So,
I like to play in the campaign setting of the whiteboarded Forgotten Realms. So what it would be is basically everything that's in the main books right now, but with the material realm just wiped blank, and just go from there.
Oh my. Oh, that's so interesting.
Just keeping all of the keeping all of the other things, like all of the accoutrement and maybe some of the deeper histories, but not like, I don't want to use like, Neverwinter and Faerun and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. So the books, but not the world of Faerun.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like but I like things like having the classes and the this is the part. This is what people are asking me to break down the term class and race used in the game. But having all of the things in the books that you want available, and then I like the kind of the realms and everything like that. Kind of like, it's actually kind of like what Tal'Dorei, the Critical Role world, is kind of based on, where like they use a lot of the Forgotten Realms accoutrement around it, but it's still like its own thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of pretty much what we've done with Sanguine Isles. All the stuff in the books is there. The world itself doesn't really have that deep lore yet, but we're designing that as we go.
Mm-hmm. And it's fun. Okay, so there is some talk about using the word class and race, and I think that it is kind of an anachronism at this point. So I will point out that is a thing that I think is just a holdover from old things. I think
it's a holdover from I'm sorry if you guys can hear my children in the background. It's a holdover from the old versions of the game, where class is basically, it's just what you can do. It's not even necessarily your job in the game, but it's what it dictates, like what powers and abilities your character has, and then race is like your species.
Yeah, and it reflects the way we thought, and it reflects the way that medieval society thought. And I think it's like Matt Colville, who was the one who proposed, and maybe 6th edition will do this, where you use vocations and species instead of race and class.
Yeah, I mean, that's a change that I think is a long time coming, but I think honestly, in the D&D community, I think if they were to do that, it would upset a lot of people. Because it's more tradition now than anything else. We don't care what the word is. It's just, why are you changing tradition?
Yeah, and they give up a lot though for tradition. Like when I looked at 5th edition, and I found out a couple things. Like, one, that the attribute points don't actually matter, and that like you could just have them cut in half and it would work.
Yeah, pretty much.
But they want to keep it because they want to keep the way of the 4 dice drop 1.
Yeah,
rolling thing.
Yeah, or if you want to get really hardcore with it, 3 dice in order, no rerolls.
We did a game like that. The DM of the game that I'm playing in person needed to take a few weeks off, and so we did like a random roll up thing. And we ended up with some interesting things, because you ended up with a character that had negative constitution.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So she didn't roll high enough when she leveled up. She actually lost HP.
I love that.
Yep. And then we had my wife's character, who was the first time she had ever played with a group of people, and rolled like ridiculously high stats in everything, and was like this like Mary Sue Druid.
Yeah, that's the one thing you have to really pay attention to or prepare for as a DM when you're letting people roll for their stats, is you're gonna have somebody who doesn't have anything above a 12, and you've got like one person rocking 4 18s, and it doesn't feel good for the person who didn't roll very good.
We knew we were playing for 2 weeks, so we just had fun with it. But so the one other question that someone asked, is there a sci-fi version of D&D? And there is like an entire universe of these types of games, and even I would probably say the most similar one, that if you're going for D&D rules, but sci-fi would probably be Starfinder.
Yeah. Pazio, the guys who make Pathfinder, just released another game called Starfinder, and it's I haven't read it a whole lot, but it seems pretty good. Now the Dungeon Master's Guide for 5th edition does have stuff in the back of it that pertains to different types of stories, like old westerns and sci-fi and that kind of stuff. And there's different items in the back of it, like laser pistols, and you've got just normal like flintlock pistols and stuff like that in the back of the book. I mean, there's stuff there. You can adapt all of it with a little bit of work to fit really any story you want to. But if you're looking for more of a sci-fi kind of a thing, I would recommend Shadowrun. It's got a very sci-fi feel to it. It's like a dystopian futuristic setting where
it's like cyberpunk, isn't it?
Yeah, it's cyberpunk. Corporations run everything, and your player character is a person who shadow runs, goes in and does jobs for people, steals corporate secrets and that kind of stuff. But that's really fun too.
All right, I actually have one question, and you can say, have you ever played the Cthulhu game, Call of Cthulhu?
Unfortunately, no. I'd like to. I've read some of it, but I have never gotten into it.
I really want to see how you even write a story for that, because the only time I've ever heard anybody or watched anybody play it, they spent most of it using it as a gag to make fun of how racist what's it called, H.P. Lovecraft was.
Oh, I don't know. It really depends on what you're looking to do. That the horror genre like that is interesting.
Well, you did Vampire the Masquerade. That's kind of a horror thing too, is it, or is it not?
You've got more political stuff. It can be like it's more like a political horror, if that makes any sense, because you can go into a hotel that's haunted and try to figure out why the ghost is there the whole time while it's berating you, and you can't do anything about it until you solve the puzzle. Or the head of the vampire king is doing things that are against his own laws, and you've got to figure out a way to approach that in a way where he's not going to just kill you. So it really depends. It depends on the type of game, or the DM for that matter.
Mm-hmm. The only time I've ever seen Vampire the Masquerade, I watched like the first hour of the Critical Role one shot for run a game.
I didn't catch any of that.
Sorry. I think the only time I've seen Vampire the Masquerade get played was when they let Talcian do the one shot.
Oh, yeah, that was great. I love that.
I have to watch it all the way through, but gosh,
it was different, but it was fun.
That show is it's good, but it's just there's just so much.
Yeah.
It's brutal. Yeah. Okay, so I do have. Okay, where was the question? There was a good one somewhere. Oh yeah, you're describing Shadowrun. Someone said corporations control everything. What a ridiculous prediction of the future. Am I right?
I know.
Oh man, this is a interesting and unique collection of content to discussion going ever. I think I have to play against type a little bit, and I think this is fun.
Corporations don't have a fucking stranglehold on modern America. No, they don't. Not at all. Not this day and age. Maybe 20 years ago, but not now. Of course not.
But now that's like, all right. Now this could be. Have you ever? I want to try. Have you ever played D20 Modern? Is that a thing that anyone plays anymore?
Yeah. Yeah, I've done a couple of games of D20 Modern. It's different, but it's fun. Because you've got the potential where you can just lose a character in a moment, because the combat is so much more deadly in D20 Modern. You get an enemy who has a fully auto assault rifle, and they just unload, and within a good attack roll, literally every bullet hits you and you are done. It's really not a lot you can do.
Because I think like a D20 Modern campaign where you're organizing like a revolution or something would be pretty interesting to do.
That would be fun. That would be pretty fun. I think for me that would end up getting too real, because I play these games to step back from reality, to get away from the political landscape that is the United States right now, and just have fun.
Yeah.
So if I were to do something like that, it would just be too real for me after a while.
That's true. I think that, yeah, it's supposed to. It's interesting because like there is this whole like it's a simulation, and then there's people who play like these super intense art role-playing games to the point where like people are talking about having like aftercare for some role-playing game campaigns. I'm like, oh, what's the deal with this?
Stuff like Vampire the Masquerade. My Vampire the Masquerade has a lot of that. You get people who are so into the characters that when they lose one, it hits them hard, like really hard.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, I don't know, it's a different mindset. I think you have to be able to, like, yes, you're retreating into this fantasy world to have fun, but at the same time you have to be able to separate yourself from those characters, because you are not that person, you're playing that person. Literally, you're an actor playing a character. That's all it is. You can have fun doing it, but you have to be able to separate yourself from it.
Yeah, I think that's what like would make like a D20, like any D20 Modern campaign would be. I do see someone said that there was on Roll20 a feminist revolution campaign that someone was running.
Feminist revolution can't. I'd be interested to see that, just to kind of see like where they take it.
Yeah. What does that system let you do?
D20 exactly. Modern.
Yeah. So is it just like gunplay and cars and?
Yeah, there's cars and gunplay, and a lot of the spell casting has been changed to technology instead of spells. I mean, some of the effects are still the same, but like the high level spells are gone. And a lot of it's been just changed to there's a class that it's essentially the fighter, but if you take a specialty and with like firearms or something, you can unload an entire magazine, whereas before you might only got 2 or 3 shots maybe. But it has a lot to do. It's just mechanics, the different mechanics in the feel of the game. Spell casting is pretty much gone. It's got a lot of emphasis on crafting, because you have to make a lot of your own stuff. And it does throw the political landscape in there too. You've got just a lot of different factions, corporations that are trying to get you to do different things and that kind of stuff. Espionage, and you could probably think of it like you're playing out a 007 movie, but there are 5 007s in your group.
Okay. I think and by the way, like that D20 system is very open-ended. Like there's like all sorts of things if you want to. So if you want to know if there's a role playing system for something, there's probably a D20 system that does exactly what you want it to do.
Probably
of some kind, including like I think there was like a D20 like Elder Scrolls and D20 like all sorts of fun stuff. So it's a good start.
I actually homebrewed a D20 Elder Scrolls game based on 5th edition.
Ooh.
I made all the different game classes and all the different species and all of that stuff. So
now, if you really wanted to go super Elder Scrolls, now that this would be a cool mechanic, and I would be interested in. Now I'm actually thinking about making this at some point, and that would be to have a classless 5th edition, like where it's like more like an Elder Scrolls game where you're like developing skills and.
Oh yeah. That would work. That would work with 3.5 or Pathfinder a lot better than it would 5th E.
Oh, I have it. I have to read those at some point.
Well, because in 3.5 and in Pathfinder, you actually get skill points every level to put into the different skills. Whereas with 5th edition, your skill points is just your proficiency bonus. So if that sort of a mechanic would work a lot better in Pathfinder 3.5. Not saying it couldn't work. Why are we banning somebody?
I don't know. This guy's being a troll, so I get these a lot.
Oh no.
There we go. All taken care of. Woo! All right. And oh man. So, all right. How about like crazy people you've run with? So, like, have you done any really amazing sessions that stick out as like kind of exemplary of what you said about how anybody can play this? Have you like gotten grandma on the table or anything like that?
Oh man. No, I haven't gotten my grandmother to play. I've gotten my parents to sit down with me and do it a couple times. They seemed to like it. They don't have a lot of time to put into something like this. But my mother seemed to enjoy it more than my father did.
I actually ran last weekend. I did a one-shot with my parents, and it was amazing.
Yeah, it's funny because you never think of your parents like being into the same kind of stuff. It's just they're people too. If you enjoy something, chances are they might enjoy it as well. I know it's weird, it's strange, but give them a chance.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, my parents are kind of nerdy people. My dad is like a nerdy baby boomer who somehow, like, it just seems by like sheer coincidence missed out on pen and paper role playing because he did basically everything else in that same period. So when we tried it up, and then both of them are like video game players and everything like that. So when we rolled them up, they actually took to it rather easily.
Oh wow.
And my dad had a character he named Bard Simpson, and
that's amazing. That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah, and we did a one-shot where our mission was to they were hired on behalf of a toy and tobacco company, and their job was to industrial espionage Santa's workshop and kill him if necessary.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's a free module. I just found it on I think someone on Reddit made it, and it was great because
you have to send that to me. It sounds super fun.
Yeah. Let's see. It had. I'm trying to think of some of the encounters and stuff it had. It had a guard by. First of all, it had a town that you could start in where there was a lot of opportunities to do really evil stuff to get money, like take from a busker who's raising money for an orphanage.
Oh my god, this sounds like the best thing ever. Send it to me. I'm running it on the 27th.
Yeah, take some. You take some. You take some. There was one that was like, you take some copper pieces from Tiny Tom, who's in front of the general store trying to get copper pieces together to buy a pigeon.
Oh my god.
Best. But yeah, then you go, and then when you actually go there, it's protected by Frosty the snowman, the snow construct. And there's reindeer, there's a logic puzzle, there's a Grinch, there's Santa with abilities like being able to telepathically throw his gnome workers around, and all sorts of crazy stuff. I'm gonna see if I can find it.
Yeah, I want to play this now. I want to run this.
Yeah, and then also there's a moral dilemma at the end because it has Santa being having a crown of some crown of mind reading to tell if everybody's being naughty or nice, and actually is like possessed by some sort of aberration, and you have to decide whether to take the crown for yourself or.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm sending it to you right now. But
great.
It was great. It was a perfect, because when you get to a certain age and you meet up with your parents for events, like what do you do besides like go out for supper and like talk?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We play cards. We play a lot of cards, card games, euchre, spades, rook, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and this works for them. I think that they seemed interested enough in it that they could theoretically, they were theoretically okay with starting a campaign that we would play every time they visited, which would be about maybe once every month or two, which is crazy.
It sounds fun. I want to do that. I want to do that now. Get my parents involved in this. I don't know. I run so many different games, though. I don't know when I'd have time to do it.
That's true. Actually, that'd be interesting. I'd be interested to pick your brain about prep and everything like that, too, because I've been reading a ridiculous amount of stuff about GM preparation and GMing in general.
Yeah.
To the point where I'm now like almost finished the Gnome Stew trilogy.
Oh.
And I've read the 2 Sly Flourish books.
For me, it's really, it depends on my players. But most of the time, I will get a general story arc in mind. I'll get a villain and maybe a couple events during the story that I want to happen. Everything else is pretty much filled in by the players, and I will maybe prep out what I think is one full session in advance. So when you guys are finished with this Wednesday, I've got to look at what you've done. I've got to look at how you did it and the decisions you made in those instances, and think, okay, how is this going to affect things moving forward? And then come up with something based on that.
Yeah, you had to throw something together super fast because you got sued by Star Wars. Or threatened to be sued by Star Wars.
That was fun. Yeah, we got a C&D from Disney. That was a real kick in the teeth. But we just rolled with it. You know, it's whatever. But I don't want to give too much away.
Yeah, I don't want
to. You're one of my players, but yeah, just generalizing. I will prep for maybe a session or two in advance, and sometimes because of decisions the players make, that ends up stretching, twice as much as I thought it was going to, or not even half of what I thought it was going to take, and then I have to scramble to try to come up with the rest, which is essentially what happened last week.
I think last week was a weird week in a lot of ways. So that was okay. And honestly, it felt good. I think that we currently have a arc where we're fighting snake people. I do have to say, when I was prepping one of my sessions, I was getting to zombies and I accidentally passed the UNT section, and so
yeah. Well, that's fine because I will generally, I like to homebrew my monsters, so I don't care if you read the monster manual. It doesn't matter to me.
Okay. Yeah, so I actually am index card person.
Oh, it helps. Yeah. But for me with Fantasy Grounds, I've got everything. Well, yeah, I suppose you could call them index cards. I make notes like on the maps on my version of the map on Fantasy Grounds. I have little pins, and I can click on that pin. It'll pull up a note and tell me everything I need to know right then and that instant about the room or about the person or whatever it is you guys are talking to. But I have to make those in advance. So that's a lot of my prep work, is essentially 3x5 cards.
And what's that like doing it online versus like doing it for like the table?
Doing it online, especially streaming it, it's a little bit more stressful because you've got people watching, not just playing. So you've got to have that content ready to go before they get there, as opposed to playing face to face. I know the character's motivations and abilities and stuff like that off the top of my head, and I can just wing it. Whereas, with a stream, that's difficult to do, because you've got so many people watching you, and critiquing every move you make.
Yeah, Doughboy, he actually was, he got a cease and desist from the Star Wars people because they were mad that he was promoting their game for him.
Yeah, right here. There you go. Full on cease and desist. It is framed now, hanging on my wall. But yeah, it sucked.
Like, okay, so like, do they do this to everybody? Like, do they just not let people stream their role-playing game?
No, not necessarily. We didn't.
So what do they have against you?
Well, number one, we didn't ask permission. Geek and Sundry has a couple different Star Wars games going, and they're licensed though.
So they want money.
Probably. So we didn't ask permission to do it. We thought that the content, the stuff we were using was under fair use. I'm pretty sure it still is. But when we got through 4 episodes it took them to come across this, find our stream and take it down. It was rough, but I think trying to find the right words here. We were doing it in, the storyline was taking place in the Old Republic.
Like KOTOR, like
like KOTOR.
And, oh yeah, are they the BioWare stuff? Are they cool with the BioWare stuff? Or are they trying to kill it?
Well, they're nitpicking what's canon and what's not, out of the Old Republic. And here's the thing, though. The day after we got the cease and desist, there was a report released that Disney was doing a new trilogy set in the distant past of the Star Wars universe, i.e. the Old Republic.
So they think that you were getting too close to their plans.
Yeah, probably.
Oh man,
that's probably what it was. It just, this person's doing the Old Republic, this one's doing it. A lot of people probably got cease and desist. They're protecting their product, because if they didn't, even if we're under fair use, if they didn't do that, there was the potential for us to make money off of it without them getting a cut of the pie.
Yeah, there's a trademark issue, I think.
Yeah.
If they don't defend it, they could potentially not be able to defend their own trademark.
Correct.
And this sucks because
if you
Disney's
don't defend
super
it,
hardcore about this.
Yeah, if you don't defend it when you first find it, and then like 6 months down the road you try to do something, sorry, you knew about it for how long and didn't do anything? It's not going to work.
Yeah, I think that it's pretty, from what I remember about, there's like this weird situation where copyright, because copyright is just like an official artificial construct we imposed in order to make creativity make sense in a capitalist system. And it really is ridiculous, and getting to ridiculous extremes when it comes to digital stuff, especially in this situation when it comes to playing a game as a show. And there's been some legal issues like the one that you had, but also like Nintendo took a long time to come around to letting people stream their games. And so
yeah, that was a nightmare.
It's tricksy. What else? And I have I completely missed out what I was going to say. But continue. How'd your story continue after the cease and desist? You put together a 5th edition campaign. This was like probably only like a couple months ago, right?
Oh geez. Yeah, it was a couple months ago. So I got the cease and desist on a Thursday. It was like a day after we were streaming. I got the cease and desist on a Thursday. And then so that weekend, essentially, I made a post on Reddit, which you saw. I think you were the first person to respond to it.
Yep.
And a few other people responded to it, and I made a post on like the Critical Role fan page on Facebook and a few other Critical Role things, and Team Human on Facebook as well, which is essentially what really got Geek and Sundry going. I made a post, recruited a few people, had a few people from the Star Wars game that were still available to do it every week. And over the weekend, I put that together. I don't know. Maybe I spent, I think, 8 hours on Saturday, working out what I wanted to do with it and where I wanted to go with the story, and how I kind of wanted things to go, and getting character concepts and designs from players, and getting those into the game. And yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, so when I joined in with you guys, I remembered that after you had said that I had gotten the slot, because there was like about 3 or 4 people trying to get in. Then like I watched through, I think you had like a first episode that I had watched through, and
yeah,
I was looking at the team and I was like, what fits in? What fits this? What do you guys not have? And then I thought, I started crossing off like races and classes to the point where I went with, I was like, a dwarf monk. All right.
Yeah.
I can make it happen.
Yeah, no, it'll work. It's going to work. I think
if you extrapolate it, he's going to be a very beefy boy by like high levels.
Yeah, if you look down the road and you just go like pure monk, he's going to be crazy.
It's true. I was kind of nervous because I don't know if it's a combination of bad rolls or being a new player, but there was a monk in my face-to-face campaign, and he seems rather ineffectual.
I love monks. Monks are one of my favorite classes to play because they offer not only usefulness in combat, because you can do a lot of things. You're not necessarily there for massive amounts of damage output, but the different things that you can do to distract enemies and you can put a lot of status effects on enemies as a monk, depending on the type of monk you're playing. So you're essentially a mix between damage and
disabler. I think
enemy debuff. Yeah,
yeah.
let's go with that.
In the very small knowledge I have of competitive Pokemon playing from friends of mine from high school, I think they're called disablers or something like that, annoyers or something like that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Which is great. Yeah, because like I love monks are fun.
Monks are a lot of fun.
And so it was great. And so like I was glad that it wasn't just me like that, because I was worried that because of what I had seen that the monk was like a weak class or something, and I was like, I guess not.
No, especially with your flurry of blows, that you can take a disengage action as part of your attack. Like, I'm going to hit you, and now I'm going to run away. And then on my next turn, I'm going to run up to you and hit you, and now I'm going to run away. And it just, you're hitting the opponent and keeping them from hitting you at the same time. And it's a really powerful combination.
Yeah, I'm surprised that that's a thing that's allowed, but I suppose that you're supposed to...
Well, the rogue can do it too, but they have literally an unlimited number of times that they can do it as long as they're not trying to stealth at the same time.
Yep. I that's what I play in my other campaign, so
yeah,
that's
crazy combinations.
I need to get away from the Dex heroes. I think that's my problem. This happens to me in every RPG I end up in. I always end up as
playing a
rogue or a ranger.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, no idea why.
Dex is really strong in 5th E.
That's good. And so, goodbye, Fedor, my great moderator. he's taken off. His daughter needs some attention.
Oh, no.
You don't have to. No, you do not get an attack of opportunity if you flurry of blows as a drunken master guy.
Somebody asking that?
Neither. Well, someone said, wouldn't you take an attack of opportunity? And I was like, no, the disengage.
Yeah, the disengage action prevents attacks of opportunity.
Yeah. Which, I mean, we're getting into like noodly stuff here, but
we are.
Basically, in Dungeons and Dragons, in order to prevent players from beating every single monster by hitting it and running away, they made something called attack of opportunity, so that if you run away, they get a swipe at you. So
yep.
There's a cost to get weaving in and out of combat. So the only people who can do that are rogues, who, if they didn't, they would just be permanently dead. And I mean, they're already permanently dead. But I thought that was like I thought that was just like me being a bad rogue. But then I was browsing the Critical Role stats page, and then when I found out that Vaxildan's been knocked out 14 times and dies 4 times during the campaign, and I was like, okay, so then it's just a rogue thing.
Yeah, Audible Anarchist says, but how can you attack and use a disengage? Well, rogues can disengage as a bonus action, so they can do that every turn. And then the Drunken Master Monk can spend a key point to Flurry of Blows, and as part of that attack, they get to disengage.
Or if you're just a regular monk, you can use a key point to disengage too, I think.
You can use a key point.
You just can't get the attacks.
Yeah, yeah. So some monks get rogue-like abilities. Some monks get spellcasting abilities. It depends on the type of monk you're playing.
Yeah, I imagine that they multi-class very well together.
Monks oddly do not. Oh, no? Rogue and monk multi-class very well. Monk, other than rogue, I don't think monk really multi-classes really well with a whole lot of other stuff, because then you have like you've got reliance on a lot of different ability scores, and monks are already kind of high up on the number of ability scores they rely on to begin with. And it's just it's
Maybe
not the easiest class to play.
Yeah, maybe I should actually ask a little bit about multi-classing, because I don't get it, and I don't understand why people do it, or why they what makes it work to good effect.
Well, okay. So do you have more than one job?
Technically, yes.
Okay. Can you use your experience from one job or another to help you in the other job?
To an extent, yes.
You are multi-classed. Congratulations.
All right, but because I'm thinking of it like another way, because my character, I don't want to talk. Telling people about your D&D character and your dreams are the two things that nobody cares about except you. But
yep.
but he's a rogue with high intelligence, because he's supposed to be like a Indiana Jonesy type character.
Okay.
And despite know how much I petitioned the DM, he won't let me learn whip proficiency.
Wait, what?
I wanted to get proficiency with whips.
Right.
Because it's a martial weapon.
Oh, and you're okay.
He's a rogue. And then, but the thing is, the most important thing is that I was considering, because he's got like high intelligence, that he would be good for taking artificing at a higher level later on.
Yeah.
Which I know is like not like a official class, but guns and throwing potions and stuff like that.
Yeah. Throwing potions are real fun. The guns part really only works if those are already in your world, or if your dungeon master agrees that your character is like the inventor of it. I think those really the only two ways that works, and if he's not willing to let those be a part of the game, that would be a hard class to sell.
The JRPG, it's kind of like a JRPG influenced game, it seems. So
should be fine.
I think I don't think he's cool with guns, but I think the throwing potions thing would be kind of cool. But anyways,
yeah,
I've been reading about it a lot because I really like the Artificer, and it's like I think that the next time I have to roll up a PC, that's what they're going to be, if I'm allowed to. But yeah, you said like it's a tough sell.
It really is.
Even though when it comes to like, all right, this is me being a history nerd.
Okay.
But when it comes to most of the things they have in D&D, as far as how sophisticated the plate armor is, and the weapons, and things like rapiers and things like that, it obviously implies a Renaissance, like 15th, 16th century technology level. Not like... the fact that people can wear plate armor and move implies that they have... without magic, implies stainless steel, which is a Renaissance era invention.
Yeah, well, I don't know, because I mean, like, you've got, well, yeah, I would say you're probably right. You're probably right, because earlier plate armor, it was pretty heavy.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, like, I get it. It's not the real world, but it at least implies that that the ideal version of the game takes place either in the very, very, very late Middle Ages or the early Renaissance, because it's a time when there's not guns. Well, there should be very bad guns.
Yeah.
And most people, I don't know,
stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. But do most DMs allow things like cannons as a thing?
Ballista take the place of cannons in most of the games that I run. Like, so if I've got like if we're doing like a pirate type of game, the pirates will have ballista on the side of their ship rather than cannons.
All right, there will be my nerdy thing. Is that
maybe they've got an artificer on the ship who's tipping the ballista bolts with explosive potions that when they slam into the side of the ship, they blow up.
Nice. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one thing that I think that I would want to go with in this. If you were going to go hardcore medieval, that's the supplement I should write. Is the historically accurate D&D 5th edition thing, where like the plate armor reduces your speed by like 75%, and like you have to be on horseback in order to move. And anytime that you get, if you take like over half your damage and injury, then you have to roll a d20, and if you get lower than 5, then you get gangrene, and you have to lose a limb, and all sorts of fun stuff. And even then,
oof.
I don't know.
This is an interesting question. Only Bros 555 asks, "What is the worst racing class in D&D?"
Oh gosh. Well, I have new players that I'm introducing to the game next week or on Tuesday. And so to make things easier, I made a race card, like an index card for each race and an index card for each class. And dwarf, elf, halfling, human, dragonborn, tiefling, half orc. I think half orcs are low on my list because I always forget they exist.
Half orcs are really good for melee combatants and even sorcerers. They're okay with as sorcerers, which is funny because I'm pretty sure they get like a reduction to their charisma score.
All right, mechanically, the worst race is, to me anyway, probably the Tritons. I mean, they can swim, but they get like 1 constitution, strength, and charisma, and it's like, yeah, whatever.
If I was going to throw obscure references out there, I'd have to say Gnome Bard.
Gnome Bard?
Yeah. you might know why, but for this audience, it's a little obscure.
Crotch Lightning?
Crotch Lightning, yeah. I
love that character so much.
I know, but he asked Sam asked Liam. He asked Liam what the worst character he could possibly play, and Liam told him it's probably a Gnome Bard.
Oh man,
yeah, so that's how Quinlan was born.
Well, I mean, like we're getting to that because I think where I am in Critical Role, I'm actually getting to the part where Scanlan quits for a while, or he decides to play a different character for a while, and I don't know the motivation behind that, but I know that's something he does.
Yeah, you'll see. It's really good.
And then he plays an artificer. I imagine it's something to do with the fact he's hunting down his daughter or something. But
Tritons are bros. Get out of here.
Tritons are. I don't know. I also think that like
sorcerers
Asimars are kind of
what?
Biased.
No way, dude.
Right, when it comes to classes, I've heard some things. I've heard that high-level bards are kind of weak.
High-level bards are absolutely freaking insane. Sure, physical confrontation, yes. If they can't cast their spells, if they can't cast their spells, if the bard can cast spells, you're screwed. Because all they have to do is touch you, boop, modify memory. You're done.
The ranger is apparently super weak. That's why they had to change it at some point, I think.
Yes,
if you go by the ranger in the player's handbook is like really weak for some reason.
I completely agree with that. Yeah.
Didn't they admit that? Didn't they have to like completely rewrite the class in like a
it's pretty bad. Like if you're playing a Beastmaster Ranger, it's pretty bad. Don't do that. Not out of the player's handbook anyway. Use the redone one.
Yeah. Yeah, because like I think the Wizards of the Coast people actually like admitted that they underpowered the Ranger too much.
Yeah. In my opinion, it could have been fixed by simply scaling the monster up a little bit more. Like the beast? The beast companion, the animal
so it's
companion.
just that archetype, like the other ones are okay?
The other one's all right.
All right. Is that why?
In my opinion, you know, the other one's okay. It's just because with the animal companion, you have to make the decision: do I want to attack, or do I want my animal companion to attack? You can't do both. So by simply saying, "Oh yes, this bear can also attack the person I'm shooting arrows at," pretty much fixes the whole problem, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that if it would sound like it would be better, like you would keep the low CR, but you can have your pet roll its own initiative and do its own thing.
Yeah. Let it go on its own initiative. Have it gain hit points.
Based on the hit points of they already have hit points for the things, hit dice for the things. So
well, yeah, but then you start getting a little OP because you're. I think the hit points should be 4 times your character level or what it says on the stat block for the creature, whichever is higher. So once you start getting to a certain level, the creature starts actually gaining hit points. And then I think your proficiency bonus should apply to the creature's attack and damage and armor class.
Sounds good. The other thing they asked is like for the worst combination is, I think that for role-playing purposes, the worst race that you can play in the game are Kenkus, because they can't talk.
Oh my god.
And they sound super annoying.
Some of those weird races like that, I probably wouldn't allow in my game as player characters. They might be in the world somewhere, but my players are not playing those.
No Volo characters?
Yeah, pretty much, except for maybe like kobolds or goblins or something like that. Those can actually speak. Like if it can actually talk in something that's not like some beast language. Yeah, sure. All right.
The Volo races are the Aasimar, which are like angel people. Yeah. Furbolgs, which are like nature giants.
Yeah.
Goliaths, mountain giants. Kenkus, which are the annoying like crow people that can't talk. Lizard folk, I've never seen one of those or heard anything about them, but they're apparently supposed to act weird too.
Yeah,
in some way.
Yeah.
And then tabaxis, which are supposed to be cat people.
Yeah.
Which the only thing about tabaxis is that they would be having them available in your game would be good for they would be good for getting the test because you know who you have to be wary of in the campaign because you can just find the furry.
Oh.
And then the Tritons, which are like mer people.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of.
Kind of.
I made the whole deck thing so that they can see all their choices.
Now, I have a question for you.
Sure.
As far as D&D is concerned, and I know you haven't been running games for very long, but in your opinion, what is, and maybe chat if they've got some D&D experience here as well, in your opinion, what is the most broken item?
I don't know the items all that well.
Oh.
There's a lot of them. No. I can't.
Is
there some infamous ones?
They're in my opinion, I would have to probably go with the deck of many things. It's just
that's more like because you can like give a character a level for free.
A level. Try 10.
Oh man, yeah.
It's a campaign ender. The deck of many things is a campaign ender.
It's one of those relics from the olden games when the game made less sense or.
Well, yeah. It was one of those items like you gave the party towards the end of the campaign. You just didn't want to keep going. Because you know eventually somebody's gonna draw either the one that, oh yeah, here's a castle in 10 levels, or here you have to fight death. And if anybody tries to help you, they get their own death. And if anybody tries to help them, they get their own death. And it's bad.
Mm-hmm. That's good to know. I haven't looked through those. I haven't, like, I don't know what it's like to give magic items yet to any big degree. The most powerful thing I've given out so far is a +1 quarterstaff and a bag of holding, which I just gave to be like, here, let's like make the campaign less tactically annoying, or that was a bag of holding logic anyway.
Yeah, it's a good start. Bag of holding is a good start.
Yeah, it was an attempt to. I think actually artificers get one. Artificers can make one at like level
2.
3, I think. Level 2.
Yeah. Audible.
I'm already preparing.
Audible Anarchist is pretty correct there. Anything that can store spells is OP. I agree with that.
Yeah, I think also, isn't that like an artificer thing too? You can like cast spells into your items or something.
I think so at higher levels. Have any countries banned D&D?
I don't think so. I imagine that there's some where the games aren't published in that language, and I imagine they're not sold in stores. Like there is, I imagine. Yeah, I'm just assuming because there's like occult themes that some places would ban them.
I gotta look at this. I don't know. Is it banned?
I can't see anything. Like I said, I think that the main people who got angry at it were like...
D&D is banned in prisons in the U.S.
What? Really?
Because it has dice in it, and gambling is banned, so they don't allow you to have D&D, which uses dice.
So I guess you must be like really into...
Oh, I'm sorry. It's just Wisconsin. Only Wisconsin prisons.
Oh.
Oh, it's crazy Wisconians.
Just get them. What's it called? Anti-diceless or the diceless RPG?
Yeah. The Artificer Unearthed Arcana is a bit dumb. It's basically useless if your DM is generous. If your DM was generous with magic items. Yeah, I can see that, because if you've got a DM who's just handing out magic items, the Artificer is kind of useless.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's something that I love the idea of being a mad inventor.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'd
probably wait until I'd wait until it came out in a supplement at some point.
I have a sorcerer, and he makes stuff. He makes magic items. A lot. But that's in another game that I play that we don't stream.
All right. So one other thing that I think we should do before we break is I want to tell more people about Dungeon Dwellers. So I'm going to link it again in the chat.
Oh.
But please sell the channel, sell our show, and why they should watch it, and why it's so great.
Well, we have a very vast, diverse group of people playing in it. I think we've got our group, which is playing just Dungeons and Dragons, where I DM, and we do that every week on Wednesdays. And then we've got a show called Hero Complex, which is every other Monday. And they play through published modules. So if you ever want a preview of what a published module is going to kind of be like, that is definitely the show you want to check out. And I guess now's as good a time as any. We are starting in January. I don't have an exact date, but starting in January, we are going to begin streaming the Firefly Universe RPG. So if you've ever watched Firefly or Serenity and you kind of want more of that content, but with a different crew on a different ship in the same universe, January, that's coming soon. But we have a lot of fun. We do a lot of different stuff on the channel.
How long have you been going?
On this channel? Oh God. I don't know. We've been streaming since 2014. Some of the people in the group, not that channel specifically. We were on a different channel before, and we just decided that we wanted different things and kind of split up, and we made our own. So we've been doing ours for maybe 6 months now on this channel. So yeah, it's a lot of fun, and there's a lot of different people on the channel who love D&D and love playing games, and we like to interact with chat as we're kind of going along. And I don't know how that's going to work out too well once we get a lot more people, because there's going to be there'll be a lot to keep up with, like telling the story and interacting with everybody. But for now, at least, we try to interact with as many people as we can.
Okay. Yeah, if you guys want to see the game that I'm playing, and it's on Wednesday nights at 6:30 Eastern.
Yep.
It's good.
That is it. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's called Tales from the Sanguine Isles. Right now, the party is going to face UNT in the city of Whitnall. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Snake people.
Snake people. They're going to fight snake people. Why did it have to be snakes?
Yep. Is there any other stuff that you want to direct people in the direction of?
Oh man, I think any other social media stuff is on that page. I've got a Twitter page at mech_45. I haven't said anything in chat, but this is I am mech45 in chat.
If you don't watch Twitch regularly and you want to see it live on YouTube, there's a Dungeon Dwellers YouTube channel as well.
There is. Let's see if I can get the link for that. We don't have a personalized.
I'm the only person who can push links in.
Okay,
who can put links in chat, so I'll do it real quick. But if you guys want to watch them live on YouTube or watch the recaps on YouTube, you can go there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Josh, for coming on, and thank you guys, everybody, for being a Step Back subscriber for another month. I will see you guys next time. I'm just going to do a little quick wrap-up of all of the upcoming streams so that I can make sure I'm on top of all the things. So, because I just started being like, I'll just incorporate some streams into my channel, and all of a sudden I'm doing them all the time because they're nice. So December 21st, Thursday, countdown stream for the new video. It's going to be my Christmas video. It's going to be a Know Your Fantasy video. It's going to be fun. I'm going to have a New Year's Day stream so we can all nurse our hangovers together. 2017 retrospect. Crusader Kings 2 playthrough on January 6th. And then I'm going to announce have a stream to celebrate the start of Quick Step, my Monday quick take video. That'll be on January 8th. So lots of stuff coming up. Have a good one. See you guys.
Bye, everybody.